Today's headline is all about the ongoing drama between the Verstappens and Horner at the Red Bull camp. This time, it's not Max, but his father, Jos Verstappen, who's making waves. Jos has declared he's had enough of Horner and even compared the internal chaos to a kindergarten. Things are really heating up as Jos was recently seen hanging out in the Mercedes hospitality suite, clearly exploring if Max could switch teams next season. This isn't the first time we've seen sparks fly between Jos and Horner though. A few months ago, Jos was very vocal about his dissatisfaction, even demanding Horner's exit and wanting Max to leave the team. Many are quick to remind Jos that his son is winning championships with Red Bull, urging him to take a step back. But the drama seems far from over. He's likely to win another championship with the team next year. After that, who knows what 2026 will bring. One thing's clear, Jos and Max Verstappen share a tight bond. Jos, Max and Helmut Marko are also very close. There's been a feeling around here that Jos Verstappen wants his son to switch teams, and we know Mercedes is interested in Max too. Max addressed the rumours about joining Mercedes, saying he's under contract with Red Bull. However, his response wasn't as firm as it could have been. He didn't completely rule out the chance of leaving before his contract is up. Today, more drama unfolded. There's talk about tension between Jos Verstappen and Christian Horner. Some wild rumours even suggested that Horner was texting a woman who might have had an affair with Jos, adding more fuel to the fire. At this point, it's hard to tell what's really going on. Let's break it down. Reports in the press, let's emphasise, are just speculative. But here's the scoop. Jos Verstappen was supposed to drive the RB8 at the Legends Parade event in Spielberg. David Coulthard was set to handle the RB1s. This was all confirmed a few days back. Now, Jos Verstappen, he's got history with Red Bull and used to be a Formula One driver, but his ties to Red Bull aren't on the same level as someone like David Coulthard. So naturally, people were wondering if it was right for him to participate. Well, it turns out Jos won't be driving the RB8 after all. He has pulled out of the event. This information comes from Erik van Haren, who is known to represent Verstappen's perspective. On the other hand, there's another guy who we'll get to shortly who tends to speak for Christian Horner. Jos shared that he heard from several people that Christian Horner tried everything possible to prevent him from driving. He thought, why not say it to my face? It's really disappointing. Basically, Jos believes that Horner's actions were meant to block his chance to drive the Formula One car. However, when Mirror Sport asked about this, a Red Bull Racing spokesperson denied that Horner had done anything to stop Jos from participating. As Red Bull Racing often says, you can't make this stuff up. Jos didn't back down and stated, I'm completely done with Horner. This phrase has been translated a few ways, such as I'm completely done with him or I've completely finished with him, but the message remains the same. Jos is fed up. He compared the situation to a kindergarten and mentioned it echoes what he said a few months ago when he predicted things would fall apart and turn chaotic. Red Bull might be in big trouble if they keep Christian Horner. Despite that, they've decided to stick with him. An investigation didn't lead anywhere and the Thai owners are still supporting Horner. It seemed like Jos Verstappen had lost, but now it appears he's gearing up for another round. So Jos's stance is crystal clear. As for Max Verstappen, he's probably feeling stuck between a rock and a hard place. On one hand, he's grateful to Horner for everything he's done for the team and their success. But on the other hand, his loyalty likely leans more toward his father and maybe even Helmut Marko. This situation must be making Toto Wolff pretty interested. There are even rumours that Horner tried to shake hands with Jos Verstappen, but Jos refused. Despite all the backstage gossip, Jos and Horner haven't patched things up at all. Jos also pulled out of the event afterward. The other racers are still in the game. There has been a lot of talk about Max Verstappen's future, and while much of it is familiar, here's a new twist. One guy offered a handshake, but it didn't go as planned. Christian Horner had to clarify to the media that he didn't veto anything. Apparently, after hearing that Jos Verstappen was set to drive an old Red Bull car, Horner reached out to the team to double check if it was a good idea, not to cancel it, just to understand the situation better. Now, Thomas Maher from Planet F1 gives his take. Though he's not exactly Horner's spokesperson, he usually sides with him, especially when there's a dispute with Joe Van Haren, who often backs the Verstappens. From Maher's perspective, Red Bull didn't try to sideline Jos, but Horner did question the plan with the organisation. So what should we take from it all? Well, someone who's definitely interested is Toto Wolff, CEO of Mercedes, who's been quite vocal about wanting Max to drive for them next year. Max, however, brushed it off, though he didn't completely close the door on the possibility. Here's what Toto shared. I wasn't there to hear it myself, but from what I gather, Max wasn't crystal clear about his commitment to Ripple. If you saw yesterday's video, you might agree that Max could have been more direct. Now, about Christian Horner, Horner shoots back, saying that if Mercedes is looking for a Verstappen to drive their car next year, they might as well take Jos. This is wild on a couple of levels. It's not just a jab at Wolff and Mercedes, but also at Jos Verstappen. Horner's basically saying, Jos tried to drive one of our cars, but my real driver is Max. Jos, you can take a hike or go join Mercedes. Most likely Jos isn't too thrilled hearing that, and Max isn't thrilled about the current situation either. He has a lot of respect and admiration for the people at Red Bull who've helped his career significantly. Now, these key figures are clashing at the top of the organisation, which must be stressful for him. Imagine Max moving to Mercedes. There would probably be less drama. Red Bull has always had some behind-the-scenes quirks, though Mercedes is not entirely free from that. It would be intriguing to see the dynamics with George Russell as a potential teammate. Jos Verstappen, Max and Helmut Marko might even think Mercedes offers a better team environment, especially if they have a solid car ready for 2026. There was something Christian Horner said that made some think he's worried about Red Bull's future in 2026, and you can bet Max is considering this too. Interestingly, after all the chaos, Jos Verstappen was spotted with some Mercedes folks, including Bradley Lord. Jos was even seen entering their hospitality area. Scott Mitchell-Malm saw this at the race and joked about needing popcorn after hearing Horner's comments about Jos and then seeing Jos with the Mercedes crew. It's quite the drama. So yeah, a lot's been going on. One more comment from Horner, who responded to the idea of Verstappen moving to Mercedes. He pointed out that Lewis Hamilton, the driver shaking up the market, had all the inside information about the 2026 engine regulations and still chose to leave Mercedes. While it's true there's also more to the story, Hamilton probably believed that even if Mercedes figured things out for 2026, he wanted to drive for Ferrari, who seemed to have a good chance too. Plus, Ferrari made him a tempting offer, much more than Mercedes in terms of an ambassador role and other perks. Hamilton's decision was likely influenced by both performance prospects and the allure of driving for such a legendary team. If he could win his 8th championship with Ferrari, that would be historic. And if not, he would still have had the chance to drive the iconic Ferrari before retiring. Horner's comments seem to be a way of cautioning Max Verstappen against switching to Mercedes, implying that even Hamilton had his reasons for leaving. This makes me think Horner might be a bit worried that Verstappen moving to Mercedes could actually happen, especially given some of the recent issues Red Bull has faced. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment below. See you in the next video.